Alright, it's getting close, innit? Final countdown. Right, warriors. Talk about the exams. Anyway, if you need a bit of advice, I'd watch this. It's going to help you in general for your English skills. Blows my mind that you don't actually learn this at primary school when you're kids. It's called the silent E rule or the magic E. Mr. Smile's going to teach you. Pay attention.
Hello Navarra Outdoor Education. Welcome to this quickfire class on the silent E. Now I usually teach this class over 20-25 minutes, but I'm going to condense it as much as possible for online teaching. What do we call those? Yep, they are vowels. Vowels, not bowels. Bowels are your intestinos. Vowels, vocales. They have names. They are in Spanglish phonetically A, E. How do we say ojo in English? Ojo is I, O, and U. U for Uia. So these are the names of these vowels, and these are also the long sounds. A, E, I, O, U. Now, they also have a short sound in English. What would the short sound be? This one. Oui, pardon. I, O, U. A, I, O, U. That is, they are the short sounds. A, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U, long sounds. A, I, O, U, short sounds. Just quickly. This first letter of the alphabet has a third sound. It's what I call the open A. Ah, like yes, we can. No, we can't. It's not can't. It's can't. Like how do you say tia? Tia. My auntie, aunt, ah is the sound. Three sounds here, the open A. Another quick one for you. It's about pronunciation. How do you say that? Okay, and this? If you're saying the same sound, the same vowel sound, it's incorrect. We differentiate between those. Cut, cat, or cut, cat. It's not cat, cat. Silent E rule. Hat. This sound is short. Ah. Hat. Now, this E is what we call the silent E. It's only there not to be pronounced, but to affect that vowel. When we have vowel, consonant, vowel, E, this E can affect that vowel and make it into the long sound. So this becomes hate. Would be the Spanglish pronunciation of it. Hate. us. As. It's not as. It's us, as. This E is affecting that vowel and making it longer. You, use. Base. This works with the majority of words you come across. Let's think of some other ones to illustrate the other part of this. Well, there's different bits to this, but let's say escribir, long sound, I, write. The past simple, what would be the past simple? Wrote. And the past participle, what's the past participle? It's not rotten, that would be podrido. Written, written. Yeah, listen to that word, written. It's a short sound, isn't it? It's a short vowel sound. It's not I, it's E, written. And it's written because we have a double consonant. To stop this E affecting that vowel. And this is why we have double consonants in the English language. Okay. Just quickly jump on. So we need to think about this in other situations. We need to think about this when we're using gerund forms of words. For example, poner is put. And if I wanted to say I'm putting my pen on the table, we would spell that with a double T, wouldn't we? Oh, because we want one to short sound, putting. But if I was to take one of those away, and this I works the same way as this E, and it can change the length of that vowel and make it into the long sounds. Puting. Now, puting is not a word, but computing is. And often Spanish speakers, when they're learning English, will say computer, and they will pronounce all of the sounds as if it was Spanish, because you haven't been taught this rule. And it surprises me because we learned this rule when we were about 5-6 years old, or I learnt this rule when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and it underpins so many different rules and little things that you have to think about when you're using the English language. For example, and another one in there, when we use the comparative rule, comparatives and superlatives, but let's focus on the comparative, and we'll go backwards. So if you have an adjective with 2 syllables that doesn't end in Y, or more syllables in that adjective, what we do to make it into a comparative is we put more beforehand. That's fine. And if we had the word happy or pretty or ugly, we just take away that Y and it becomes happier. Fine. Now let's look at one syllable adjectives. Here we say, okay, add ER to the comparative. Yeah, add ER. Let's start here. Tall, taller, fine. Fast, faster, fine. Big, add ER. If we were to add ER and not another G, that would be biger, like tiger. And we need another G. And what you're taught at school, they say this, they say if it was Vowel, consonant, put another consonant. Okay? Vowel, consonant, put another consonant. Makes sense. Bigger. Done. What about here? Vowel, consonant, put another consonant. If we're making it into the comparative, that would be incorrect. And there's a reason. We can apply this rule and think about it. Slow. Oh. That vowel is already long. Slow. So, it doesn't matter. So many times I see B2, C1 level students adding this consonant here because I'm not familiar with this underpinning rule. There are exceptions. I'll explain some exceptions as we go on. I often works the same way in the middle of a longer word. We don't often get I at the end, but in the middle it can also affect that vowel consonant I kind of situation to make the vowel longer. But crazily, Y works a similar way, but at the end of words. So let's think of some B2 level type adjectives to illustrate the point of Y. Here, double S would mean that this vowel is short. That's bossy. Mandon. Here, this Y is affecting this vowel and making it longer. That would be cozy. O, cozy. R, short, bossy. Because of this is able to jump across an effect. Here, a double consonant would stop that. Here, this Y is affecting that vowel there and making it into the longer sound, which is I, tiny. Whereas here, the double consonant means that this Y can't affect this vowel here, and so this is E, tinny, tinny. Now tin is a material, a metal which is hojalata, and tinny is often referring to sound. If there's a sound quality that has no bass or treble, no depth to it, we can describe it as being tinny, a tin can sound. Slimy, like that crazy gooey material that children play with, or slimy as in baboso, bad Spanish, but you can correct it for me. Whereas here, this I is short, will be skinny, flaco. So here it is again, this kind of crazy, unusual way that vowels are affected. And it's because when the Romans conquered the British Isles many, many moons ago, they encountered on this strange island so many different peoples with different languages and sounds and place names and tools. They had no way of writing down the length of these vowels, so they started to introduce this way of changing the Latin a, e, i, o sounds. I'll just give you a quick bonus point before I go on to exceptions. Another thing that we learn at school, which it seems strange that you don't do it this way in the education systems in Spain, is we learn the phonetic alphabet. So of course we learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But before that, or as you start to learn to write and read, more reading, you learn A, B, K, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, Y, Z. I'll do that for you again. A, B, K, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, Y, Z. The sounds, the phonetic sounds. A, apple. B, banana. K, cat. D, dog, etc. And it seems to be lacking this type of basic learning in the school system here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. However, I have taught a lot of primary school teachers, English teachers. Exceptions. So, imagine there are always exceptions to the rule, especially in the English language. These are verbs, and we have these double vowels here. Double vowel is the strongest sound within the word, so we don't need to worry about this E affecting here. Mirar, no, look is mirar. Feed is alimentar. So in the continuous gerund form, it doesn't matter. This is the stronger sound. We have connecting and simple connected words like are, there, were. They're all exceptions. We know those. We learn those as we go along. It's more for when we see new vocabulary, or when we're having doubts about spelling, how we apply this rule. Other exceptions, these kind of 2-syllable or more words that end in iv or tiv. Active. We don't say active. We say active, productive, descriptive, creative, didactive. They're all exceptions. However, when we come to these 4-letter words, sometimes we do apply it. This is hive, which would be colmena. Live or live? Depends on the context. English is a strange language, so we have these rules, but the language evolves, changes, flows. Other exceptions. It's a nice higher level word for you. Noun, regime. If we applied the rule, we might say regime or regime, but we don't. We say regime, and we say regime because it's a French word, so we try to use the French pronunciation. So there are words that come in from different languages which wouldn't necessarily have this rule applied to them. Desert and dessert are the exact opposite of this rule, but you know, postre, dessert would be French. We would use our pronunciation. I've condensed that. Usually it's 5 minutes more, but I hope that's useful for you. If you have any questions, any doubts, let me know. Thank you very much.